Hello everyone. I'm just getting everything all nice and set up for my live. I'll be on and ready to go in just a second. Want to give a couple minutes just for people to join on, say hello. I always like to ask, if you are watching and joining me tonight, just drop a quick comment, say hello, let me know where you're watching from, or let me know if you're crafting. Oh, you're really seeing that iridescent foil on those Rainbow Galore toner sheets right now, so that's fantastic. Of course, wanted to give you guys a little bit of a preview as to what I'll be making tonight. I know that I shared it earlier in the group, but you're going to get to see it in all its glory tonight. Brienne's crafting. I know Brienne and I, we have a lot of crafting to get done, but I hope whatever you're doing is beautiful like always. And hello, Julia. At least I'm assuming it's Julia. Oh, there's bunnies. Yes, it's Julia. That was the giveaway. So if you guys are joining me tonight, drop a quick comment, say hello. Like I said, where you're calling from. Oh my gosh, I sound like a call center. Where you're watching from, maybe what you're up to, anything. I just love to see who's joining me. So promise you that we're going to have lots of fun tonight. I really always am kind of looking for a little bit of an excuse to go into my lawn fawn stash. It's quite the sizable stash, so when I can break into it and work on a project with it, I get super excited, and I thought for Gingham Week that this would be a really fun set to work with, so here we are. So like I said, we'll get going in a minute or so. I'm making sure, I'm thinking to myself mentally, I'm looking at my whole desk, being like, do you got everything? Is everything good to go? And the answer is, you know I forgot something. So it'll just pop on when it pops on, and that's a-okay. So, all right, you guys. So, it's Gingham Week, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what Gingham is and how I kind of cheated with my project today, because this actually isn't a Gingham stencil. But Gingham is basically when you take a color and you make all the lines of that color go like in one direction, so vertically or horizontally, and then you have opposite lines that cross over it perpendicularly, and there's like three different colors. There is where they intersect, which is usually like the most saturated color. There are the lines that have color that don't intersect, which usually take up about 50% of the card exactly. And those are the second color. And the third color are the spaces that the colors do not touch at all, that are open. And that's like 25% of the pattern. So that's kind of what we've got going on with tonight's project. As you can see, the dark squares are where the colors or the lines intersect. The diagonal lines are where it's just one of the colors, and then where there's no color at all, that's where there's no color, like I was saying. So that's what a gingham pattern is, but this is actually a plaid stencil. And I think it works perfectly for flock because it's kind of hard to layer your flocks on top of each other without getting just like a checkerboard sort of pattern. So we're going to go with this stencil. The stencil I'm using tonight is the Buffalo Plaid Stencil from Miss Ink Stamps, so it works perfectly. And let's just get into it. So what I always like to start with is my background, because that's where the most of our flocking is going to be taking place tonight. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to grab a A2 size piece of a light purple cardstock. I want to say this is the lilac cardstock from Gina K Designs. Don't remember the full name of it, but I know she has lilac and lavender. It's the lightest purple cardstock that's available. And we're gonna be doing a distressing shortcut first. So what I'm gonna be doing is I've got some Wilted Violet Distress Oxide ink, and I'm going to be using this to distress the edges of my panel. So I'm actually going to have a block off to the side, and Brienne's taking notes, I'm sure very detailed, and then Sherry, hello, thanks so much for joining in. So I'm taking my Wilted Violet foam blending tool, and I'm going to kind of lightly go in on these corners and get a nice distressed edge. Trying to blend it so I don't get any sort of harsh lines, but I can fix it if I do. All right. just like that. And then I'm just gonna carry with that color and not re-ink and just start going in on my second side because the color's already a little blended out. All right. And then I'm gonna go back in and just kind of blend out these little bit of harsh lines. Almost like erasing them, perfect. All right, and then I'm gonna go in, we're gonna do this section. Now, Brienne, when you say you love that purple, any purple specifically? Because I know you're a purple kind of girl. It's probably all the purples, so I don't even need to ask. But Wilted Violet really is one of the best purple oxide colors. I feel like it's the truest of the purples. Or a violet. Whatever you want to, depending on how you're referring to it. Hi, Julissa. Thanks so much for stopping by. Long time no chat. All right, so I'm blending those edges. I'm a little meticulous with my ink blending, and you know what? In my book, that's A-okay. Oh yeah, Wilted Violet. Wilted Violet is my favorite. Okay, I say it's my favorite purple. I'm actually a seedless preserves sort of guy. That would be my favorite purple, and it's actually more of a red violet than just like a straight violet color. But Wilted Violet would definitely be my second. I just don't think that today's Seedless Preserves is appropriate. This is definitely the perfect one for this project. All right, so I've got my panel all blended. And a little bit over here. All right, and now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna put my ink blending tool away. I did go ahead and I dabbed off some of the color onto this acrylic block. So I am going to take my spray tool, that of course has escaped me, and where did it go? See, I always tell you there's something that I'm missing, and I guess that's what it is today, is my spray tool. We're just gonna go into it. I know I've got a little bit of water here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick up some of this color, and we're gonna splatter right onto the project. Usually my spray bottle is not one of the things that goes MIA, so that is a little concerning, but I'm sure it'll show up. Nothing that I can't fix with a little bit of, whatchamacallit, wipes. All right, so we're gonna put that off to the side. Ah, found it. It was hiding in one of my drawers. All right, and then what I'm gonna do next is I'm just gonna wipe my surface really quickly. And then what I wanna also do, they do hide in plain sight, you know, and I remember hearing a little bit of a crash a couple minutes ago that I was like, oh, that was nothing. It was my water bottle falling right into my drawer. No big deal though. All right, so what I'm gonna go ahead and use next is I'm going to use some liquid pixie dust. And what I'm gonna do with that is just flick a little bit of splatter onto my project. So that's gonna get like a little bit of like that sparkle going. So I'm gonna go ahead, all right. And then this is the liquid pixie dust. It's by Ink on 3. It works wonderfully. Okay. Just a wee little bit. And then I'm gonna use my watercolor brush, pick some of that up, and then get some of that beautiful sparkle onto my project. Just sort of playing around with different variants of splatters. And hello, Linda. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'm sorry I was a few minutes late to respond to your comment. I try my best to get to everyone's, but sometimes they get a little delayed. All right. So I'm going to go ahead just for a quick second. I am going to set this aside to dry. You know what? It's fairly clear, but the solution itself, there's a little bit of a goldness to it, but when you shake it, it'll dry, and when you flick it, it'll dry fairly clear. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this set to the side just so I can get it a little on the dry side. What we're gonna do next is I'm gonna go ahead and work on foiling my background really quickly, and then we're gonna go back to some flocking as well. So what I have is the heart rainbow pattern from the Rainbows Galore toner sheet. And what I'm gonna be doing is I'm just gonna be ink blending this entirely in Salvage Patina because this is gonna work as my sky. So I've got my ink tool and we're just gonna keep going. We've got a couple things that have to dry tonight. So I'm kind of working a little out of order accordingly. Salvage Patina makes a really pretty sky color. So that's why I decided to go ahead and use it. And then I'm actually gonna be going in with some peacock feathers as well, but that's gonna be after we foil, after we die cut. This is like a 4-step process. And I'm just gonna ink blend the whole thing because I can use it later. And now all the products that I'm using tonight, I do have a blog post on the ThermOWeb website that has everything nice and listed out for you guys. So be sure to check that out if you've got any sort of questions. All right, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to take a piece of the Iridescent Deco foil. Go ahead and open this up. All right, I've got my piece that's already been cut a little. Ooh, this one's actually better. We're gonna use that one. That one's got a better size, I think. Yes, that'll cover it entirely. Oh, perfectly. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll this back up. I didn't realize I had 2 scraps of the iridescent, but I love how the iridescent color is like a silver, but it captures rainbows, which I thought would just be really pretty for tonight's card. All right, everything's nice and pushed down. So what I'm gonna be doing is wiping the back of my toner sheet with a microfiber towel, and this is just gonna remove any sort of dust or residue that might interfere with transferring this beautiful foil color onto my toner card front. And now I am wiping off the back non-colorful side of the foil, which may be hard to tell because you can still see that rainbow glare, but this is the back side. All right, now we're gonna go ahead. I've got my sandwich ready to go. It looks a little sloppy, but it works. And really at the end of the day, working is all that matters. All right. So I'm wiping off my toner card front, and this is from the Rainbows Galore. And then what we're gonna do is cover this, and then, as I say, pretty side up. Hello, Sue. And yes, Brienne, you do need this color. That rainbow can be filled. Yes, it can be foiled, Janessa. All right, so I've got my heat going with my laminator, so it's gonna be a heat transfer. We're gonna go ahead and run that through. And while this is running through, let me catch up on some comments. So Sue's here tonight, so glad that you're here. And of course, Linda, I'm happy that you're here too. And then, yes, so Julissa, so the Rainbows Galore toner card fronts are the rainbow pattern, and because they're toner card fronts, they of course can be foiled. There is 2 different rainbow patterns that are included. They're really fun, and they add a lot of pops of joy just to your card, and they work with so many different types of the foils that just really make those rainbows pop. I love using it with the new Mystic Rainbow deco foil that came out. I also think that the Rainbow Shattered Glass is a really nice touch as well. The other one that I almost used tonight was just like a teal color. We have the teal deco foil, and I thought those would be like a really nice subtle foil to be in the clouds. Obviously I went with the iridescent color, but you know, options. And hello, Susan, thanks so much for stopping by and being here with us tonight. How exciting. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take my laminator and put it away, and let's get our peel reveal going. I can already see that I've got a nice smooth transfer all ready to go. Oh boy. Oh my gosh, this is like perfect. Oh, it's the perfect peel reveal. All right, y'all, I'm thrilled. So let me pull this up a little bit closer so you guys can see all that rainbow goodness with that iridescent Deco foil. Oh, I got a near perfect transfer with this, and I am just thrilled. And I'm going to be using all of the perfect parts. Oh, so exciting. All right. Yes, hard it and like it up if you guys are loving this foil. It's super pretty. So what I'm going to go ahead and do next is I'm going to go ahead and die cut this from a circle. So I've got a stitched circle die cut from Lawn Fawn that I'm going to be using tonight. I'm going to just line it up. And there's going to be a little bit that's not going to get cut. That's entirely a-okay. I'm going to grab my Pixie tape. Thank you so much, Sherry. It's really pretty, and it's a great, like, no-mess method to do your foiling. You don't have to worry about any sort of pastes. You just have to have a laminator in order to do it. Thank you so much, Susan. All right, so I'm going ahead and I'm getting my Pixie tape. And then Mary Ann says, my first time here, I love your products. I'm so glad that you love the ThermOWeb products. There's such a good lineup of products and so many varieties. I know that there's something for everyone, and it makes me so happy that you found things that you love. All right, so I'm using my Pixie tape. I'm trying to tack this down in the non-foiled areas. I don't know if that matters or not, but maybe it does to me. And then we're gonna go ahead and run this through my die cutting machine. This is gonna be off camera just because I use an electronic die cutting machine and it can be a little cumbersome to carry around. So I'm gonna go ahead and die cut. And I agree, Julia. I think that the iridescent foil is one of like my favorite colors to use. And I'm really glad to be using it tonight with everybody. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've die cut out a stitch circle. Now I want to talk to you guys as to why I die cut after I foiled. So you can die cut really at any stage and the foil mostly will transfer. However, when you do anything that's embossed or stitched, it's really hard to get that foil to fully transfer into those areas. So I like to, especially when I'm using a stitched or an embossed die cut, I like to foil first and then I like to die cut because I get a really better transfer. And that's just my opinion. You can do it at any time, but my process is always ink blending, foiling, and then die cutting. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take what's left of my toner card front and set it aside. I have all these beautiful scraps that I can use for later, along with the leftover Deco foil sheet that I can use as well. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I've got some Peacock feathers, Distress ink, I'm gonna grab a foam blending tool, and I'm just going to really quickly distress the edges just to give a little bit of color. Now you're gonna say, but Justin, you just said that you ink blend before you foil. You're right, I did say that. But for this instance, I wanted to get the edges of my die cut and I can't really do that until I do the die cutting step. So there's always loopholes with the rules, and they're not rules. You do whatever works best for you. But even my own personal rules that I live by in my craft studio, I have to bend them sometimes, you know. So just going in, distressing the edges. All right. Ooh, and that's just gonna add a little bit of a depth of color. The salvage patina and the peacock feathers are in the same color family. So by going into a more darker or more saturated sort of color, I'm just kind of giving a nice gradient, which I love gradients. I love ombres, always my favorite. Julissa, I always learn so much watching your lives, totally taking notes tonight. Oh, that makes me so happy. Thank you so much, Julissa. All right, let's go in really quickly and we're gonna use, I've got a pre-die cut piece that's like a stitched grassy edge. This is the Rina K Designs Neon Screamin' Green Flock. And I'm just gonna use this as my little hillside piece. I've already die cut this with the same circle. You'll see the stitched edge. And then I used a grassy hillside die also by Lawn Fawn. And I'm just gonna go in with some mowed lawn distressing to give a little bit of color to the bottom of this grass. And yes, you can ink blend directly onto your flock if you want to discolor it a little bit and make it custom to your project. I do it all the time. I just wanted some of this green to be a wee bit darker. I love the neon. Sometimes I gotta mute it just a bit. And I think that the Screamin green is my favorite of the green flocks that are offered. All right, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and set that aside. And I'm gonna use my well-loved bottle of Ultrabond Adhesive to glue this to my panel. And then I'm gonna be able to set this aside to dry. And then let's go ahead, do a little bit of glue up here. So this is the first flock that I'm using tonight. Oh, Sue, we must share good taste then in distress colors, because Peacock Feathers is like an all-time favorite, you know, but so is Salvage Patina. I remember everyone kind of lost it a little bit with Salvage Patina because it's such a good addition, and it's so kind of close into that Peacock Feathers family. All right, I'm just lining it up, just like that. Perfect. You know what? I could probably pull it down just a wee bit. All right. Perfect. I can set this unit aside then for later. We'll get to it shortly. All right, so I'm going to clean up really quickly. I'm going to put the pin in my glue. Catch up on a couple comments. Maybe grab a drink of water. You never know. I already know what it is that I forgot, and it was wipes. And that's okay. All right, let's see. All right, so next, so that panel that I was working on is dry. So I want to go ahead and I want to do a little bit of stencil work with it. So I have my Lumberjack Plaid Stencil by Miss Ink Stamps. That's what I'll be using for my background. So I'm gonna go ahead, gonna grab some Pixie tape to apply to the back. You can emboss the flock as well. That was like kind of like my backup of what I thought I might do with this project, is I'm like, ooh, I could use this stencil and just emboss, but I'm gonna show you guys what you can do to get 2 cards out of 1 with my flocking method for this background. I am like super excited for that because I'm always for a 2-for-1 project. All right, so I've got my panel all ready to go. I'm gonna grab a piece of just what I call my scrap full cardstock. We're on to green now. It used to be pretty yellow, but this is just what I have in my stash right now. So we're gonna go ahead. I've got my Deco Foil Transfer Gel Duo, which is one of the 2 Deco Foil Transfer Gel options we have, the other one being Blanco. And this is the tacky option, and when I say tacky, I don't mean like, oh, that's tacky, like that's whatever you'd call with it, like just different or whatever. But this is like literally when it dries, it will be tacky to the touch. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna place some down, I'm gonna grab my stencil pal, and I'm going to apply this to my panel, going in the grain of the stencil. As you can see, there are those lines in the Buffalo Plaid. I find I get the best application when I go with the grain and not against it. What's great about using the Transfer Gel Duo is it's called Duo, now correct me if I'm wrong, because there are 2 ways to use it, so hence Duo. You can do it as a non-heat transfer method with your die cutting machine, or as, of course, a heat transfer method by using your laminator. So, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna have to grab baby wipes in just a second so I can clean this off. So I'm gonna go ahead, see. All right. And as you can see, I got a really nice application of this Deco Foil Transfer Gel Duo. So I am going to work kind of quickly to set this aside and really quickly go grab some baby wipes. for me to clean this off. And it is important to clean your tools off quickly. I don't have access to a sink right away, of course, so I'm kind of just working quickly to get this cleaned. All right, I almost turned my laminator off, and I'm like, no, wait, you still need that. Don't want to get rid of that. Sorry, so I'm gonna put that off to the side, and then just kind of use my baby wipe on top of my stencil. I might need a second one, and that's a-okay. And I'll wash it off entirely later. All right. Get a nice clean going. And like I said, you want to make sure to clean this off right away, just so you can make sure that you're not getting your stencil any sort of gunky, and that it'll be nice and reusable. All right. Set that off to the side. And then I'm gonna use a baby wipe to clean my hands. Ooh, so much cleaning. All right, definitely time for a water break. All right, next what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're going to do the transfer to our background. Now I did already work on a background to use for tonight's live. And this is one that I made before I got on with you guys, so it's nice and dry. Oh, I do wish I had a craft fairy. That would be lovely. All right, and now the second color we're gonna use is the Purple Punch, which is gonna work really well with all the purples we have going on tonight. So I've got a smaller piece in my pack already. So let's go ahead and trim that down. Let's see. All right. So now when you are doing a flock transfer, you want the flock to be touching the sticky part of your project. So what I'm actually going to be doing, because it'll be less of a mess for me to transfer, is I'm going to flip this down like that and put it into my parchment paper. All right, now I'm gonna grab my laminator and we're gonna process this through. All right, let's catch up on some comments. Julissa, I agree. I love the Buffalo Plaid Stencil. It's by Missing Stamps. If you don't have it and you're looking for it, I do have the link for it in my blog on the ThermOWeb website for everything for tonight's projects or products being used in the project. So definitely check it out. I think it's super fun. And you can also use it like just on a colored paper with black over it to get that fun buffalo plaid print. And I think that it's also a great way to get that gingham effect onto your flocking and your foiling as well. Oh, you've never used flock. You guys, it's so easy with the Deco Foil flock transfer sheets. Like, you just need something for it to stick to and you are good to go. Or you actually don't even need something for it to stick to, because you can, like Julia was saying, you can dry emboss it. I die cut it, and I'm actually going to be applying some Glitz glitter gel to it, so that'll be nice and fun. All right, let's make sure we got a nice peel reveal. Got a little bit of the sticky on, that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over. All right, so as you guys can see, I've got this really nice transfer of my pattern in the Purple Punch flock to my background, and I love it. I think it looks fantastic. But also what I have as well is I've got the negative, which is almost, honestly, you guys, I have to be like, when I say honest, I'm saying it twice. I almost think this looks better than this, and I'm saving this because I already have a piece of it that I have to a card front already from my other card that I'm like just waiting to do something with it. So save your negatives because this is beautiful and you are going to get so much use out of this. You can die cut this. You can just cut this out because this is going to also already be perfectly A2 size. So use your flocking scraps. I didn't mean for that to sound funny, but it is a little bit. So I love the peel reveal. So I'm definitely saving that scrap. All right, but we do have our background. So we're going to go ahead and set that off to the side. What I want to work on next with y'all is I want to work on my die cut words. And so I have the sweet, scripty sweet word die from Lawn Fawn. So it die cuts like this, as you can see. And this is the pink Carnation flock. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be stacking the two white ones on top of each other and gluing them. And then I'm going to be putting the pink on top of it. And then we're going to glitz it a little bit. Do you just glue the scrap on cardstock? Yeah, you totally can. I actually, Sherry, what I did was for, this is one of my scrap negatives. I cut down my flock negative and I adhered it right to a card base. I've got a little bit of adhesive on it, but that can always be cleaned off. But yeah, you can just apply it to anything. You can also die cut it into shapes and use it as embellishments on your projects. That works really well as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get some gluing in. I love the negative. I was almost kicking myself because I'm like, you really could have done a 2-for-1 card tonight. But if you guys have any favorite word dies, you can just pop that word die onto that negative and put it onto a card front or card base, and you're good to go with an extra card. Especially if you've got some favorite embellishments or if you have some extra images that you've colored up that are in your stash. Like, use your scraps to make those quick projects. Because trust me, get yourself a good like happy birthday die because you can turn any card into a quick happy birthday something and just like have it done in 5 minutes. All right, just get this all into place. And the reason I'm stacking is this is going to give this sweet word die a little bit of extra dimension. All right. I'm going to use an acrylic block from my stash just to give a little bit of pressure. As I've gotten more and more seasoned in crafting, I use my acrylic blocks for more and more purposes. I used to think they were just for stamping, but they are so fantastic to apply a nice even pressure when you want to stack your die cuts, and it gets a really nice sort of effect going for that. So as you can see, everything's pressed down together, it's stuck, we're good to go. And now we're gonna do the sweet word die, but I'm going to slightly offset it. So I'm gonna apply my glue directly to my white portion. All right. Let's see. I'm going to offset it because that gives it that little bit of white framing that I love. All right. Now I'm going to take my block and press that down. Let's see. Comments. Sherry, I promise it's a bunch of fun. And Susan, I'm assuming you're talking about acrylic blocks. I tell you, okay, just while this is drying, I gotta show you guys what I got. I got this huge acrylic block and I am like in love with it. It is bigger than an A2 size and it is like perfect for putting that pressure on your cards. I think I actually have 2 of them and one of them is MIA. I don't know how one of them can be MIA at the moment, but I do have 2. All right. What we're gonna go ahead and do next is I am gonna take some of the Gina K Designs Glitz Glitter Gel in the Iridescent. And, ooh, I don't need to mix it, perfect. I'm going to make sure though, first, I'm gonna clean my hand because I don't wanna discolor my ink. All right, let's go ahead. I'm gonna grab a tool. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this out and apply it directly to my finger just like that. And I am just going to, you know what, it's the wrong finger. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not left-handed. Trying to get just like that. I'm just gonna go ahead and brush some of this Glitz glitter gel right onto the bottom of my die cut. And this is just gonna really nicely give some iridescent glitter embellishment. Try to make it a little on the chunky side. Because you can glitz on the flock. All right. I'll hold this up so you guys can see it a little better, and I will have to clean off my fingers, but it's got that really nice iridescent glitz going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up. Patricia, where do you find the fine tip glue? I've been looking all over and the ones I have are really expensive. All right, let me go ahead, let me wash my hands really quickly and I will show you what I use, Patricia. And then, don't you wish you had a craft fairy, Tracy? Oh yeah, Tracy agrees. I actually use the Ultrabond Adhesive, which is the iCraft glue by ThermOWeb, because they also have a fine tip for that as well. That's what I'm using tonight. So let me go ahead and show you. All right, dry my hands off. They're glittery. Do you guys see all the glitter on my hands? That's okay. So I've got, and now I always apologize, I have a very well-loved bottle of Ultrabond Adhesive, and I went ahead and I bought the fine tip applicator as well. And then, so you can use this, and this is available in the ThermOWeb shop. I believe that the one that I have linked in my blog is for one of the glue pens, and I usually use this. But they have the smaller Ultrabond Adhesive pens. This is a 1 ounce option, but if you're looking for a little bit more bang for your buck, this is a 6 ounce option that I believe is about double or a little more than double the cost of this one. And this works really well. This is a craft desk mainstay for me, the one that looks very well loved. But if you're looking for a smaller one, maybe it works better for your craft space, or maybe you're traveling, it has a very nice fine tip already applied to it. I do use it a lot. Yes, there's the 6 ounce, the 2 ounce, and the metal tip. So we've got everything. So, and also to you guys, if you haven't shopped on the ThermOWeb website before, you can go ahead, when you go onto the website, there should be a pop-up ad that asks if you want a discount on your first order, and I believe it's for 10% off. Go ahead, enter your email address, and you can get that promo code to use on your first order. And then I know that ThermOWeb, you get free shipping in the US for orders that are $50 or more. So if you're thinking about getting glue, you're already part of the way there if you wanted to get that free shipping, or also get that 10% off as well. So I'm going to take my sweet word die, put it off to the side, and we can get into the phase of our project where we can start assembling our card. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take my circle, and it's going to go kind of in like the upper center of my card, and I will be using that Ultrabond adhesive to go ahead and glue it down. And you're so welcome, Patricia. So I'm using this. I love my fine tip metal applicator. We're gonna go ahead, let's see, just like this. And don't you love how those rainbows add like a little extra detail to the sky? And it's like, it's not a lot, it's just a little bit, but it's just right. All right. So next, what we're gonna go ahead and do is put some of our, I need to put a little bit of glue down on that side. It does, flock adds so much texture, and then we've got the addition of the Glitz glitter gel, which is on top, and then I'm also using some foiling, so it's extra as well. I'm extra, you know, just a little extra. Who doesn't like extra in their card? And unintentionally, I've got a bunch of glitter now in my flock from my hands, but who doesn't like the glitter? Sorry, let's go ahead and wipe that out. All right, so I have a bunch of these little images from the Lawn Fawn Butterfly Kisses stamp set. Let me go ahead and show it to you guys. I'm using this butterfly, or no, this is a butterfly. This is a fox with his net. It's this butterfly, and then my sentiment is going to be sending sweet butterfly kisses. I'm also going to have a couple clouds and tufts of grass as well that we'll be using. So let me go ahead and start getting this into place. So we're gonna have our fox. We're gonna have our clouds, and I know I have to glue the clouds together. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and glue that. You know what, I can turn my laminator off. I'm sorry about that extra noise. There we go. So let's go ahead and start gluing things to our card. So I'm gonna take this cloud, and this can go kind of down here, kind of overlapping just a wee bit. Want to make sure it's nice and even. All right. Next, I'm going to take my 2-part cloud, and we're going to also let this overhang just a wee bit, just like that. Perfection. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take some of the iCraft 1/16 inch foam tape in white. Now I wanna show you guys another thing that's very well loved. I promise you, if you order the foam tape, it's much larger than this. I'm just getting down to the very end of my roll, but you get 108 feet of it. And I didn't grab my little detail scissors. That's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some foam tape on the back of my little fox with his net. Isn't the foam tape so good? And like the backing comes off super nicely. It is like such another mainstay in my craft space. I use my Ultrabond adhesive honestly just as much as I use my iCraft 3D foam tape. I use the 1/16 inch definitely more than the 1/8 inch just because I don't want like the huge rays, but I'll tell you that 1/8 inch is so perfect for shaker cards because it really gives you a nice lift. All right, so let's go ahead and start removing the backing of this tape. And the foil does totally pull the purple color. Absolutely, Julissa. Oh, phooey, that little piece. It's okay, I'll get it. I'll get you, my pretty. You're a little dog, too. All right. Go ahead and get these backing off. And if you guys have any questions about anything that I've done just thus far, please, 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 I'm here to help. So go ahead and ask. Now is a good time while I'm getting things adhered that I can kind of multitask. So we're gonna go ahead and put our fox kind of slightly off center-ish. And then we're gonna use a little bit of foam tape on the back of this butterfly. Oh, thanks so much, Julissa. I feel like whenever I use the Lawn Fawn products, especially with the ThermOWeb flocks and foils, it just turns out really cute. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this little butterfly right here. And then now we can work on our sentiment. So I'm gonna go ahead, get this sentiment put on that says sweet, but it's gonna be a little customized. Oh, thank you so much, Linda. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna clean that off just a tad. Use my iCraft Ultrabond adhesive. Also too, with the Ultrabond adhesive, it does dry clear, which I know is fantastic for me. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put that down, and then I'm going to use my block to adhere this a little bit. Actually, what I need is I need a little bit of pressure right here, just because it's kind of hanging off the card. Once that glue dries, you can foil it too, right? Julissa, you know what? That's a question that I don't know the answer to. Can you foil on top of the glue? I'm gonna have to try that out. I know that you can foil on top of set like embossing powder, but I feel like you might be able to. I'm gonna have to try that. All right, so I'm using my sentiment of sending. I'm gonna kind of tuck it right in here. So it's gonna say sending sweet, and then I have butterfly kisses. And that's gonna go right under here. We would recommend using our Deco Foil liquid adhesive. All right. That's pretty awesome, y'all. I'm gonna have to try that. Y'all taught me something tonight. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and adhere a couple tufts of grass. I'm gonna do one right here. Do another one over here. And then I actually, ooh, that one went with me. It's taking a vacation. This one doesn't want to stick. All right, let's use, all right, just like that. I actually have a little one that I didn't use on my original card that we're gonna use as well. No, we're not, because we have embellishments. I forgot about our embellishments. But I've got some, these are some like sequin mixes. This is from 28 Lilac Lane, from Buttons Galore. This is their Lavender Fields. And I thought using some buttons would be a really nice embellishment for today's card. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lay a couple of these out. And then I like laying out my embellishments first and then adhering them, not just kind of winging it. Just because sometimes embellishments can be a little overwhelming. Overwhelming in terms of using them. All right, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna pour some out. There we go. All right, we're gonna put one up there. I just think buttons are a really fun and whimsy sort of embellishment to use, so I enjoy using them. All right, so we need one more bigger one. That's not white. That works. All right, let me pour these back in. It's such a large amount of embellishments too. I'm gonna have this forever. All right, let's pick up some embellishments. And we're really close to done, y'all. So, which I think is fantastic. Oh, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you, Tracy. And Patricia, such cute, tiny, itty bitty buttons. Where are those from? Those are from, it's 28 Lilac Lane, which is part of Buttons Galore. And I do have a link for these in the ThermOWeb blog post as well. I do always link my ThermOWeb products first, but then I also link other products I use as well, like, of course, the Butterfly Kisses stamp set. And, of course, you got to link the embellishments. We all need excuses to buy cute embellishments. That one's gonna have to get put down by hand. A craft room tour, oh gosh. One day, I promise I will do one. All right. All right, let me catch up on a couple comments and I'll show you guys the final card. Oh, thank you so much, Linda. And Julissa, I agree. I think the buttons are perfect. They just work really well to add like that cuteness to the scene. And Sherry loves the buttons too. Excuses for embellishments. Yes, absolutely. All right, you guys, I am entirely done. And listen, for a product using the little lawn font images, I got this pulled together in under an hour. And in my opinion, I think that is pretty fantastic. But let me go ahead and show you guys what we did tonight. So, of course, for Gingham Week, we had to make a Gingham background. This is the Transfer Gel Duo from Deco Foil. I used it over the Miss Ink Stamps Lumberjack Plaid Stencil, which was kind of like my hack of getting that gingham effect. Let it dry, let it get tacky, and then use the purple punch Deco Foil flock transfer sheet over top. For my background, I used the Rainbows Galore toner card fronts. It's the pattern that's got the little hearts and the little X's inside the rainbows. I went ahead and ink blended it over it with salvage patina, and then I went ahead and foiled it with the iridescent Deco Foil transfer sheets, die cut it again, distressed the edges, and then also added a neon Screamin green piece of flock by our Rina Designs line for the little bit of grass as well, also distressed. The last piece of flock that I used is for this sweet word die. I did go ahead and use that pink Carnation Deco Foil transfer flock sheet, and I put some of the iridescent Glitz glitter gel on the bottom as well, just to get a little bit of shimmer to it. And of course, we added some really cute images from the Lawn Fawn's Butterfly Kisses set, added some really fun button embellishments from the Lavender Fields collection by 28 Lilac Lane. And yeah, here you guys go. Oh my gosh, I love this card, and I'm glad you guys love it too. You guys are wonderful, and I'm so glad that you guys are here tonight. Let's see, comments. Thank you so much, Linda. Congratulations. Yes, I think it turned out wonderfully. And then Susan, this is so cute. You need to try this technique. Absolutely. This replay is going to be available for you guys to watch whenever. I'm also going to be downloading this from Facebook, and it's going to get uploaded to the ThermOWeb YouTube channel as well. If you guys are not yet subscribers of the ThermOWeb YouTube channel, go ahead and do so. That way you'll see in your feed whenever we add new videos to the YouTube channel, including the replays of my live. So that's going to be fantastic. And then let's go ahead and see. Yes. The Deco Foil Duo is a must in your craft stash, especially if you guys are going to craft without heat, because you can use your die cutting machine as a transfer method for both your flocks and your foil. So it's really good for that, but really it's good for anyone to have as well. Oh, thank you so much, Sherry. And then yes, Julia shared the link to where you can find all of the products used. I've got all the links on the ThermOWeb blog. Be sure to check it out. Remember, if you haven't made a purchase yet on the ThermOWeb blog, log onto the website or just type in www.thermoweb.com. You guys are going to get a pop-up ad right away that's going to give you an offer for 10% off your first order. Go ahead and use it towards that first purchase. And if you guys are going to be planning on spending at least $50 on the website or more, you are going to get free shipping in the US as well, which I always think is fantastic. I can also attest to ThermOWeb shipping time is usually fantastic. Your orders are always shipped within a couple days. I'm also really spoiled because I live like less than an hour from the ThermOWeb warehouse. So whenever I order my stuff, I get it super quick. But I know that they ship really quickly for everybody as well. So be certain to head on over and check out everything that I used. Place those orders if you guys are looking for any of this stuff. I don't know if I was to pick something that you must have. I really love the purple punch Deco Foil flock in the background. I think it's going to be really fun for spring. If you love using those flocks and textures for springtime projects, you're going to need some of that Screamin green neon transfer flock as well from the Rina Designs line. And that iridescent foil is really going to make your projects pop too, you guys. So thank you guys so much for being here. Let's go ahead and go through comments once more. We've got Sherry, of course. I know she said the card turned out so cute, and thank you once again. Patricia, no, thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you were here. You were here. So many of you guys were here from like start to finish, and my lives are always the best when you guys are here and you guys are having fun. So thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you again, Linda. And then Tracy, actually, I need all ThermOWeb products. Yes, you do. It's really easy to hop on to go and add those things because they've got a lot of stuff that are like under those $5, $6 price points, and they add up in your cart really quickly. I can personally attest to that. And then Susan, she needs all of them too. Yes. Linda, thank you once again for being here. And then Marianne, so cute. Love making cards for friends and family. Don't we all? I mean, really, I feel like that's such a drive for all of us to get into the crafting world, is to share with people. And I love sharing with you guys here. And I'm now going to have, listen, I've got 2 of these now. So I have 2 friends or family members that I can send this to that are going to get a little bit of an extra day. And I love that you guys feel the same way as well. And then Patricia just found your blog. Yes, yes, yes. On the blog post on the Thermo website, I've got my own personal socials as well. So be sure to check it out for more crafty inspiration. They are always speed on getting out those orders. Absolutely, Julia. And then Kristen agrees as well. And then Bodil, tips on how to foil with embossing powder. Mine often smudge. You know what? I don't fully, because I mostly use the Deco Foil Transfer Flock, I don't do a lot of the embossing powders. I know that there is not a ThermOWeb embossing powder that's officially like to be used with the product, so I don't know any tips as to why they smudge, but maybe that's something that I can address in a future project for you guys. I would love to. I do know that when we did our Inspiration Week with Simon Hurley, he did some videos on how to go ahead and use embossing powders to transfer images. So if you want to maybe go ahead, check out the Simon Hurley videos on his channel for when he did the collaboration with ThermOWeb. I know that I watched those and he used some of those techniques as well. He's got some really fantastic techniques for your Deco Foil products, so go ahead and check that out as well. Thank you, Susan, for being here. Oh, thank you so much, Julis. It's always nice catching up. You're always so kind. And thank you. And then, oh, yep. Simon just shared a video with the Deco foils. Absolutely. Great minds must think alike, Julia, of course, as always. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to be back. This is my last live for this month, but I will, of course, be back next month. I know that I have a live planned. I believe it is for... It's either May 17th or 18th. It's always going to be a Wednesday. I want to say it's the 18th. And we've got a fun week planned that week. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I'm really excited for what we're going to be making together. So thank you all for being here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get this video closed out. Don't forget, I will be having this video available for replay on the ThermOWeb Craft Room Facebook group page. Also, this will at a later date get uploaded to the ThermOWeb YouTube channel as well. So thank you guys so much for crafting with me tonight. I had an absolute blast playing along with our Gingham week. And I can't wait to create with you guys again. So be back soon and have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday evening.